Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So I am back with another best and worst cruise staterooms, and I am finally getting around to doing the quantum class on Royal Caribbean. Now if you watched, obviously if you saw the thumbnail, this is going to be the Odyssey of the Seas. So I'm going a little bit out of order because the Odyssey of the Seas is the most recent ship in the quantum class. However, that is a ship we have sailed on. We have not sailed on the other, I guess four, I think it's 5 in total, but I'll double check. But that's the only one we sailed, so I thought it was easier to start with the Odyssey. I've actually already filmed the actual footage of, going through each category, but I started with the Odyssey and then I will go through the Quantum, the Spectrum, and all the other ones. I forgot the order. So I will go in the order that they were released. But I'm going to start with the Odyssey, and that is this video today. Okay, so a little bit about the Odyssey of the Seas. It was built in 2021, or that was the year that it was released, so it's only 2 years old. It is about almost 169,000 tons, and let's see, it has a crew of 1,300, and the expected passengers can be anywhere from 3,844 to 4,805, and then it has total of 16 decks and 9 decks with cabins. So currently it is sailing out of Fort Lauderdale doing the Caribbean. When we did it, we did a 6-night sailing. I think it was doing like 6 and 8 nights, and out of Fort Lauderdale, and then it goes to Europe, and I believe it sails out of Rome and does the Holy Land and Greek Isles. One of my best friends from since I was like 7 years old did the Greek Isles, sailing on it last year, and absolutely loved it, loved the ship, and loved it for especially the Greek Isles. And then I believe it's coming back, but then it's going to New Jersey, and then it's going to be doing all different types of Caribbean sailings out of New Jersey, which some of them are Southern Caribbean, and they're like 11 and 12 days. And then they also have like a Bahamas going to the like Nassau and Coco Cay, but those are 7-night sailings. So it has a bunch of different sailings. So it's not coming back to Fort Lauderdale. I think in 24 it's going to New Jersey. So, and then that's going to be late 2024 to 2025. So we'll miss the Odyssey, but it's a great ship. And here are some things to consider as well. So other things to consider when booking a stateroom, I just did a video, it's probably going up right before this one, on 10 things to consider when booking your stateroom or best stateroom. And that's one of the things that I was when I was doing these videos before, I was kind of going through those really fast before each video. So I decided to do a separate video for that. So I will post it up here, and that is 10 things to consider when choosing your best stateroom. And what I always say is your best stateroom is not everybody's best stateroom. So book the best stateroom that is for you, that you can afford, but your needs and wants are going to be different from somebody else. So you have to just know what kind of, even if you've never sailed on a cruise ship before, you kind of know like what's your family. Are you going to be a lot of time at the pool, the gym, the spa? What are you going to be spending a lot of time at? So that's really things to consider. So definitely watch that video before watching this one. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go through every category. I'm going to start with the I think it's the Royal Suite, and then go all the way down. So I'm going to start at the suites. Not going to spend too much time on the suites because they're awesome, right? And there's only like 1, maybe 2 or 3 in each category. So I go through them really fast, but I do spend a lot of time on the balcony staterooms, especially the Oceanview, because there's some special staterooms in the Oceanview category and interior as well. So I'll spend a lot of time on those things to consider. So here is the best and worst cruise staterooms on the Odyssey of the Seas. And here you can see the pricing for signing up for cruise deck plans. You can have access to this website, but in order to see the pictures and videos, you do have to pay. I personally did a lifetime membership, and it is worth it. I have been using this website for years, but just know that it is paid because there's a lot of work that goes into this website. Okay, so here we are at cruisestateroom.com, and we're just going to go down all the way down to where we can find Odyssey of the Seas. click it, and this is going to bring you to the website. I am a member and I just went over the memberships, so I will just make it active so I can see everything that this site has to offer. We're just going to go over the decks really quick before we get into the actual stateroom. So we'll go on deck 2. That's where you're going to have the gangway medical center. Deck 3 is where you have some outside, mainly outside, you have the lower level of the Royal Theater, music hall, Casino Royale, a lot of outside staterooms, and then the bottom deck of the main dining. Deck 4, again, there's the upper deck of main dining. You have guest services, boleros. This is going to be the Royal Esplanade with Starbucks and the Crown and Compass, Sorrento's, Cafe Promenade. And again, this is deck 4. This is where the Diamond Club is. And then you have the Royal Theater right there. Deck 5 is also the Royal Theater. And this is the upper walkway of the Royal Esplanade. You have the Schooner Bar, Chops Grill, Focus Gallery, Izumi, Bionic Bar, Wonderland, Shore Excursions, Giovanni's Italian Kitchen and Wine Bar. You have, and then 270 is right there. And then we'll go up to deck 6. You'll have 270, the upper level. Then you have some more staterooms. Now this is where we're getting into the balcony staterooms all right here. And you'll see a lot of these that have corner, and they have the larger balconies. We'll get to those in a little bit. And then deck 7 is also going to be a passenger deck. Deck 8, you have obviously a lot of suites here on the aft. That's something unique to the Quantum class. So a lot of different types of staterooms here. Deck 9, also passengers. There we go. 10 is going to be the same. 11 is where we're going to start getting some other things. So we have Adventure Ocean. So this is Adventure Ocean. This is for ages 6 through 12. On deck 11. So that's Adventure Ocean here. Nothing else there. And then on deck 12, you'll see some more staterooms here. And then you also see Adventure Ocean. Now this is the nursery and the juniors. So this is where the nursery is and the juniors. So basically 6 months to 5 years. So we'll talk about that. If you are, you have a little one, maybe you want to be on deck 12 to be close. When we were here, our son was in the regular Adventure Ocean, and our stateroom was, I believe, 1166, and it was very close to Adventure Ocean. It was very, very convenient. So moving back up to deck 13, you'll see the solarium over on the end, and then you have the Concierge Club on this end. Deck 14, you have the Windjammer, Coastal Kitchen, and a local fresh, Splashaway Bay. The Splashaway Bay on this ship is not that big. This is obviously the pool deck, Solarium Bistro. Deck 15, Vitality at Sea Spa. Then you have the North Star right here, Lime and Coconut. So this is obviously the Seaplex. This is the access to the ripcord. You're going to have to walk upstairs to go there, the rock climbing wall. So this is where all the activities are. So they have playmakers here. It overlooks the play area. So that's the overall, and then you have the fitness center over here. So that is the overall view of the Odyssey of the Seas. Okay, we're going to start with the Royal Loft Suite. There's only one of these staterooms. It is on deck 8. So we'll go to deck 8. And deck 8 is where most of the suites are. This is where most of the suites are, except for one category, the owner suite, are in deck 9. So the Royal Suite right here, right on the aft. It's going to be gorgeous. Again, if you're watching this, it's 1,640 square feet. If you're booked in this, you're probably not watching this because you don't need to know where your stateroom is, or pick it because you got the best room on the ship. Then we'll move up to the owner's Loft Suite. There's only one of them. This is also on deck 8, and we'll go back down, and it's on the other corner right here. So this is the owner loft suite right here, 975 square feet, balcony of 501 right on the aft. Again, amazing stateroom. Then we're going to go to the Grand Loft Suite. Again, these are 3. These are the other ones that are at the end. So right here, 1, 2, 3. Now here you might have, I would try and choose one of the ones in the middle. I think you're just going to have a better view right at the edge of the aft, but I don't think you can go wrong with any one of these. Again, I would try and just go in one of the middle ones, but if 8722 is the only one available, I don't think you're going to be unhappy. Then we're going to go to the owner's suite, which is on deck 9. And you'll see here, there's only 2 of them. And these are very centrally located. So these are not on the aft. These are very centrally located right next to these elevators. So very convenient here. Whether you're port side or starboard side, I think a lot would depend on where you're going, what itinerary you're doing, and if it makes a difference. A lot of ports, it doesn't make a difference. Caribbean doesn't always make a difference, but in Alaska, maybe it does. So again, I think, but either way, they're going to be very, very similar. Then we're going to go to the Grand Suite 2-bedroom. There's 2 of these staterooms, and they are, they're going to be on deck 8. So we'll go to deck 8, and they are pretty much the same area as the owner suite, just 1 deck below. So again, right near the elevators, right near the stairs, in the middle part of the ship, so very centrally located. Same thing applies whether you go on the starboard or the or port side. A lot depends on, it may not even matter, but if it does matter, you might want to research, but I don't think you're going to be unhappy in either one of them. Okay, now we're going to the Grand Suite 1-bedroom. There's 14 of these staterooms. They sleep up to 4, and they are on deck 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Essentially, they are on, there's 2 on each deck, essentially in the same location. So a lot of this will depend on what do you want to be close to. So if you want to be close to, let's say, the Royal Esplanade, or the casino, you probably want to be on deck 7 because it's just a short walk down. However, if you have a little one that's going into Adventure Ocean, that's going to be ages between 6 and 12. Maybe you want to be on deck 11 because then it's a quick walk over to Adventure Oceans right here. So it would be on the same deck, but you can just look 7. You'll see 7 right here. There it is. 8. Deck 8, again, right there. So it's very centrally located midship, pretty much the same location. Deck 10, 11 we just did, which is the same deck as the Adventure Ocean. Deck 12 is Adventure Ocean for the little ones. So you'll see here. So if you have a child maybe in the nursery or in the juniors, then maybe deck 12 would be ideal. And then deck 13. So deck 13, the one thing to consider is that right above is Splashaway Bay. So Splashaway Bay is about, so you're probably around here. You're not going to be affected by Splashaway Bay. I've never had a problem with noise being right below the pool deck. I know that is a big concern with a lot of people. Personally, I have been right below the pool deck and I've never had an issue with noise. I am a very light sleeper. However, if that is something you are concerned about, don't pick deck 13. However, deck 13 might be good because you're not concerned about noise. You just have to go up one flight of stairs and you're at the pool, especially for, Splashaway Bay. You have a little one that's going to be going there. You can just literally walk down the stairs and be very, very close to your room. So a lot of things to consider. I think it's just a matter of, as far as location on the ship, it's the same. It's just a matter of which deck do you prefer. Okay, our next category is unique and is the Junior Suite Large Balcony. There's only 8 of them. They sleep up to 4, and these are very unique. Now, deck 6 is probably the least desirable. So deck 6 is here. It's the same size as a regular junior suite, and it just has a larger balcony because it has this on the hump right here. So it's going to have a larger balcony here. The asterisk here means that it sleeps up to 4. These are probably the least desirable in this category, and I'll show you why. We're going to go up to deck 10. and the rest are going to be on the aft. Now you will have to walk a little bit, but you can see that these are considerably larger. So you'll see here, these are considerably larger than the regular junior suites. You can see here, it's just very, very large. So that is deck 10. And then we'll go up to, I'm going to go to deck 12 first, and we'll go to deck 12. And Hard Travel has a lot of videos, and they actually have a video of this room. I definitely encourage you to follow. They have a lot of good room tours on their website of all different type of categories. So you can see here, this one's a little bit bigger. The best ones I think are on deck 11 though, just by looking. Obviously I don't know personal, but it seems to be that the ones on deck 11 are just a little bit longer. You'll see you have this nice long hallway. You could probably store things there, luggage, and it just looks to be a lot larger than the other, 6 other junior suites, and you're going to have a large balcony on the hump. So my vote for the junior suite large balcony category J1 is going to be the ones on deck 11. Then I would say followed by that by deck 10, then deck 12, and then finally deck 6. Next up, we're moving on to the junior suite categories J3 and J4. There's 98 of these, and they are on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 13. And one thing to note on the Odyssey of the Seas is that a lot of the junior suites only sleep 2. So you'll see here the ones with the asterisk sleep up to 4. If it has a triangle, it means it sleeps up to 3. However, if it doesn't have either, that means it only sleeps up to 2. We did a Royal Up, and we were trying to get a junior suite, and there were junior suites available, but they only slept up to 2. We had a family of 3. So it's just something to keep in mind, knowing when you're trying to Royal Up, or if you have a guarantee that there's not a lot of junior suites that do sleep more than 2. So just something to keep in mind, at least knowing what your odds are to get. If you are a family of 3 or 4, getting a junior suite in a Royal Up is probably harder on this type of ship. So we're going to go on deck 6 right here. You'll see them in the middle. So you'll see these two here, 6226 and 6626 do sleep up to 4. The ones right here on the hump, very, very convenient. They only sleep up to 2, but they're very, very convenient, centrally located, and really great. Then we're going to move up to deck 7. Again, there's 8 on deck 7, but you'll see that they only sleep up to 2 in the middle part of the ship, and there is none in the back. Then we're going to go to deck 8, and we'll see here again. So we have the 2 here in the middle, and then you have 2 handicapped accessible. Again, all 6 of these only sleep up to 2. Then deck 9. We'll go back into the middle. Now here you have 8, 4 of which are handicapped accessible. Now the handicapped accessible if you qualify, the best ones would be 9246 and 9646, because you're going to have a larger balcony. However, only 9246 sleeps up to 4. The others only sleep up to 2. So just something to keep in mind as you're looking, if you are looking to do a junior suite. And then we're going to go up to deck 10. And again, you have 8 right here, very centrally located, only sleeping up to 2. Very great. None of them I think are better than the others. I think probably right here on the hump, I think would be a great one. But I think any of these 8, you're not going to have much difference between them. And then you have these 2 right here that are on the aft. I think these are great. Again, these are only going to sleep up to 2, but these are going to be a little bit different because they're going to be longer, but they're going to have this great aft balcony. So they do have some videos on YouTube that you can look up. This is going to be stateroom. Let's see what stateroom it is. 10324. But you got that beautiful aft balcony, and let's just take a look at the room and see if we can get the room again. So it's a nice size room, nice size junior suite.
But again, I think that these are very highly desirable if you are a party of two in a junior suite category, because you're going to get that aft balcony. Then we're going to go up to deck 11. And again, you're going to have two right here. There's no video, or actually there is a video. So these I think are also very desirable, because I think you're going to have a little bit larger stateroom as well because of the odd shape. So you're going to have, let's see here, try and get some past all the, there we go. So it's a good size, but again, you're going to have that nice aft balcony, which is going to be fantastic. There were none on, let's see, in the middle. Again, you have some in the middle here, only sleeping up to two. So very desirable. Now, if you have kids in Adventure Ocean, maybe you don't want the aft, maybe you want to be closer to Adventure Ocean, then maybe 11234 or 11634 to be closer to Adventure Ocean. There was none on deck 12, and then we'll go to deck 13. So you've got 8 right here, very centrally located. Again, same. The consideration here is, again, we're going to go up to 1 deck. And you're right below a Local Fresh, nothing right here. So I don't think you're going to have a problem with sound on deck 13, and you'd be 1 deck below the pool deck. So very, very convenient. But that is it. So I think for the junior suites, if you like the aft, I think definitely trying to get one of the ones on the aft is very desirable. I would go for deck 11 first before deck 10. I just think they're going to be a little bit better shaped, but I think they're going to be great. And then you're going to have that nice aft balcony. If not, and you just want to be more centrally located, I think it depends on what you want to be closer to. Do you want to be closer to the pool deck? Then get on deck 13. If you have kids in Adventure Ocean, get on a deck 11. And if you want to be closer to the Esplanade, then choose deck 6. Okay, now we're moving on to the balcony stateroom. So I'm going to break these up a little bit. So first I'm going to go over the 1C and 2C category. These are going to be the hot pink. These are the ones that are balconies with large, balcony staterooms with large balconies. So there are going to be some that are better than others. They are on every deck between 6 and 13. So I think a lot will depend on whether or not, which deck you want to be close to. So these are going to be very centrally located, because you can see right here, this is just going to have an extra long balcony. The key here is that the room is the same size as the other thing. You're not getting a larger room, you're getting a larger balcony. For someone like us, that doesn't make a difference to us. We really don't spend a lot of time on the balcony. We would prefer a larger room. So if you are someone that loves a large balcony, then you might love this type of category. It really just depends on the person, but you're going to have that nice, long, extra long balcony. Also note that deck 6 has an overhang, so you're not going to get as much sunshine. Some people like that, some people don't. But that's the ones on deck 6 right here, very centrally located, great. This one right here, 6632, is going to sleep 3. Deck 7. You'll see here again. So here we have a little bit of a difference. So you'll see here, this one's going to sleep 3. This one's not going to have as big, it's going to be the same price, but the balcony isn't going to be as long. It's still going to be larger than the average balcony, but it's not going to be as long. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, it just depends on what room size you need. And then these two right here, these aren't that much bigger than these staterooms. So it may not be worth, if it's only a difference of $100 total, then maybe. But if it's a big significant difference, maybe not. And I think that is it for deck 7. So then we're going to move up to deck 8, and you'll see here again some big differences between the staterooms. So you have 8248, 8648 are going to be extra long. All of these though only sleep 2. Same thing with these. These are going to have extra large balconies. Going up to deck 9. Deck 9, same thing. So you have some that sleep 3 and 4, but the ones that sleep 4 are going to have the larger, longer balcony. Again, these are very centrally located, great location. It just a matters of how much does a larger balcony mean to you. Same thing with deck 10, very similar. I think these in the middle, they're going to be very close to the elevator, but you're going to have a shorter balcony. So again, it just depends. So there's some that are better than others, as you can see here. I think that is it for deck 10. And then deck 11. Again, deck 11 is the same deck as Adventure Ocean. So this would be my choice. We love being on the same deck as Adventure Ocean. So 232, 632 are going to be the more desirable ones, going to have a larger balcony. 250, 650 are going to have the larger balconies. So those are, large balconies. They're great. I think they're great. It just depends on, again, if it's important to you. Deck 12, same thing to consider. You'll see here. And then again, reminder that deck 12 is the deck that has the Adventure Ocean for the little one right over here. And then finally, we have deck 13. And deck 13, they're just right here. So you have, I think, 162, 562 are going to be worth it. They're going to have an extra larger balcony. But then you have 172 and 572. That doesn't really look that much bigger. So also keep that in mind if you're doing a royal up. You might be paying for a large balcony to do a royal up. And let's say you are in 13574 and they move you to 13172. Okay. It's not that big of a difference. You maybe got an extra, 10 square feet and you might have paid, $200 for that upgrade. Is it worth it? Probably not. So just know what you're bidding on too, because this also applies to royal up, but that is category 1C and 2C. And now we're going to move on to category 4C. So 4C is also a large balcony, but it's not going to be as desirable location. So it's not going to be as midship. So you'll see the ones here, 7290, 7688, 7690 there. So you have some that are more centrally located. These have a little bit of a square. They're a little bit of a different shape. I think these are really great staterooms. I really like the ways these are shaped. They're only sleep 2, but the way these are shaped, I think they just are more roomy because they're shaped more like a square than a rectangle. And I think it just is it feels more like a regular hotel room. So I think these are really great, very centrally located. So these I think are really great in this category. The balcony is going to be a little bit longer. It's not going to be, it's going to be longer in, not in width wise, not length wise, which I think is great as well. So if I were a party of 2, I would probably choose 7256 or 7258 over 7260, just because I think the shape of the room would be better. That is it for that on deck 7. Moving on to deck 8, we'll see here, there's a couple here. Again, just looking at the size of the balcony, it's going to be depicted 8292. I don't think that's worth it. It's pretty much the same balcony. It may be a little bit larger, but not that much. Deck 9, same thing. Now these are pretty good. Not that great as far as centrally located. It just depends on whether or not a balcony is worth it for you to get a little extra walk. These 262 and 662 are a little bit better. They're going to have a little bit longer balcony. That is it for deck 9. We'll go up to deck 10. We'll see here. Let's see. So you have some here. These are pretty good. I think they're very centrally located, not too far from the elevator. And then here you have, these are going to have a decent size, larger balcony. But a longer walk to the elevator and stairs. And then let me see here. I forgot. These two right here are also, there's no pictures, but you're going to have that longer balcony and on the aft. So I think these, if you like an aft balcony, these might be a really good buy for you. You have the 4C and it's going to have that aft balcony. Moving on to deck 11, you have here 292, 692. For me, those would not be worth it. But that's a personal preference. These, I think 262 and 662 are good. Not for 264 and 664. I don't think they're worth it for the extra money. Going up to deck 12, you'll see here, same thing applies. They're pretty much the same, all the same staterooms again. And then deck 13 is going to be the last deck. So same thing here. So I would try and get these right here. I think they would be worth it. And again, you'll be right next to the pool. Right next to the pool deck is one flight up, but that is it. So that is the 4C category, and that is it for the larger balconies. Okay, next we're going to go on categories 1D, 2D, and we're going to do 3D, 4D, 5D all at once. Okay, so 5D is not on deck 8, but we do have some connecting balconies. We'll discuss the connecting balconies as well, just because we'll kind of talk about them. But these are just the regular balconies. Obviously, the 1D and 2D are going to be more centrally located, better desirable locations, whereas 3D, 4D, and 5D tend to be least desirable locations as far as in that category. So we'll start on deck 6 again. Okay, so here we are. We have the 1D and 2D on deck 6. You'll see here. These are great. I think these are going to sleep 4, centrally located. And if you look, 6246 and 6646 have that little balcony larger, but you're not paying for it. So really great. So that is it for, and then you have here close to the forward elevator. You have some here. Very, great location for the 1D and 2D category. Now moving on to the 3D and 4D category on deck 6, you're going to have some that are going to be a little bit further. Now I think these are probably the least desirable. Your balcony is going to be a little bit smaller and you're going to have a larger walk. And then we go back and we see here, that's going to be a different category. Let's see. And then we have the 5D. So 5D right here, don't know why this one would be 5D. Maybe it's a little smaller, but I think it's the same size. But you've got here right on the hump, really great location. So I think that is a really, probably if you could get one of these staterooms, it would probably be a very good buy because it would probably be a little bit cheaper than 1D and 2D, but you're right next to it and very centrally located. So that is deck 6. Moving up to deck 7. So we'll start with the 1D and 2Ds. Again, centrally located right near the elevators. Very, very convenient. You have 7646 right here with a larger balcony. Same thing here. You've got, these are very midship. You got some great locations here. So it really just depends on where you want to be. Do you want to be more the forward, more back? And now we'll look at the 3D and 4D. So we'll go with the back. You'll see here, like these I think are probably, again, least desirable because you're going to be all the way further, all the way to the back without the aft balcony. But you'll see here you have, you've got the 5Ds, they alternate the 5D, the 3 and 4D. I think but the 5D only sleep 3 right here. That's the triangle. So, I think being this far in the back without a larger balcony is not necessarily desirable, but you can see here, obviously there are some handicapped accessibles, but we'll go up here and you'll see, we did those already, and we'll just kind of go back and we'll see again, we see the 1D and 2D, and then you have some 5Ds in the middle. So very convenient with the 5Ds. If you are, you can, some of these sleep even 4. So I think, you could probably get a lesser category, pay less money, and be in the 5D category, but you're really in the same location. And then all the way forward, you have, again, deck 7. So we're going to go up to deck 8. And you'll see here, we've got the 3D, 4D all the way at the front. And then you've got some connecting in between. So that depends on what your needs are. And as you get towards more of the center of the ship, you have the 1D and the 2D. Don't see any that have a larger balcony at the D price. So we'll see here, you kind of just have the connecting balcony and the 1D, 2D, very centrally located. And we'll move back down. We'll see here the 3D, 4D. Now these are very centrally located, so probably a little bit, less expensive than this one right here. You've got some handicapped accessible here. And then moving on, you see some more connecting. So again, I would try not to go all the way further back at the aft or not go further in the forward as well. Moving up to deck 9. So you'll see here the 3D, 4D, again, try not to get this further back. You got some 5Ds in between. And then we'll move up. You'll see a lot of this is just depending on, what's available and what your needs are. And then I think with the balcony category, rather than trying to look for that special stateroom, if one's available, great. But I think the key is to figure out which deck you want to be on. So again, here, nothing special. There's none that have like a larger balcony. It doesn't seem, yeah, they're all, sometimes there's one that has like a larger balcony, but I don't see any here on deck 9. Deck 10, you'll see here. Again, the 3D, 4D, and then you have the 1D, 2D as you get more centership. The 5D, I think, is probably going to be your best, more bang for your buck, because you'll be able to get a lot of the same locations in between, like it's almost next to the 1D, 2D, but it's going to be at least a lesser category. And then you'll see here. So again, more about where do you want to be, but there's none that I see that are D categories that have a larger balcony here. So the connecting balcony here, so 10-290 and 10-690. If you have a connecting, this one's going to have a little bit of a larger balcony, it appears. And then you have these two right here. So these are the aft. This is on deck 10. So you have two aft balconies, 10-326 and 10-328. So these might be desirable if you want an aft balcony. And you can see here, let's see if we have, so that is what the stateroom is going to look like. And let's see if we can get a view of the balcony. So beautiful aft balcony at the 3D, 4D price tag. Moving up to deck 11, and then again you have 4 right here. I would try and get to the ones in the middle. They'll probably just be a little bit longer. These are also going to sleep, it looks like these are going to sleep up to 4. So these sleep up to a family of 4. So I think that's going to be very desirable as well. You'll see here, so obviously they had a family of 4 with an aft balcony. So I think those are very desirable. You are on the same deck as Adventure Ocean, but you're on the other side. So that's the only thing, is if you do have kids, these may not be convenient. Otherwise, I wouldn't try and get these here. The only benefit of being this far back in the aft is to have that aft balcony. Here you'll have some connecting balconies that do have a larger balcony right here. We'll see here. And again, none that stand out to me as far as location, as far as any getting a larger balcony at the regular price tag. I think with that, you just want to be more central. I will say we were 11166. We were in a 5D. That's probably my video. Very convenient to Adventure Ocean. We just literally walked out, and Adventure Ocean, the entrance was Adventure Ocean was right here. So that's how you went through. So if you're over here, you still have to walk all the way out this way. So you want to be kind of over here. Very, very convenient to Adventure Ocean. It was fantastic. We absolutely loved that stateroom. Going to deck 12, same thing. And you'll see here, these are, don't see any that have a larger balcony at the D price tag. So again, it's just a matter of being, which deck you want to be on. You do have a larger balcony here for connecting, 12-290. And then you do have some aft balconies right here. So you have a 5D with an aft balcony that sleeps 3. And then you have 3 in the 3D, 4D category that are going to sleep. I guess these would be 4D because these are only going to sleep 2. So that is deck 12. And then finally, deck 13. Deck 13 obviously is the deck just below the pool deck and the windjammer. So I would try to avoid back here personally. I think if you were going to be, I would try and get, not past 13-260 right back here. I think that's where you would want to be. But again, I don't see any that have a larger balcony at that price tag. And I would again I would probably try and not get past this side. I think it's just too much of a walk. But anything, you have the 2 elevator banks here. And then if you are in, let's say, this category right here, just remember you're going to be right below the pool deck. So the pool deck is going to be right here. So again, with the balcony staterooms, you really have to decide what deck you want to be on, and then try and get the most bang for your buck with what's available. But the most important thing is to find what's going to be most convenient for you. Do you want to be close to the Windjammer? Do you want to be close to Starbucks? Do you want to be close to Adventure Ocean? That's what's really going to make whatever stateroom you get the best for your family. There's 2 more categories in the balcony stateroom. So you have 1E and 2E. These are only on deck 6, and these are obstructed. So if you don't mind an obstruction, these might be a good buy, especially if you do like a larger balcony. So you do have 6290 and 6690 are going to have a larger balcony, the same with the ones next door. And then even 6260, 6660 are going to have a larger balcony. And then these right here are going to be the ones that are kind of square, like we saw earlier, that are going to have a longer balcony. So these might be, now they're only going to sleep 2, but that's a really good, they might be a little bit obstructed with the lifeboats. I believe that's what it is with the obstruction. It just depends on that wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't mind, especially if we were to get like a larger balcony or a nice stateroom, and especially at a good price. If it was a difference of having an obstruction balcony or having a Oceanview stateroom, I'd have an obstructed balcony. So these are really good. So that's all of them. I would try and get, over here or just as centrally located as possible. But these are the ones that are the obstructed, the category, which is 1E and 2E. And then the last category is 2F, and these are studios. This is something unique to I believe the Quantum class. So they have a few studio staterooms that sleep 1, and then they are on deck 6 and 7, and you'll see them right here. So 6250, 6650, you're going to have a huge balcony. So you're going to have a single stateroom, but you're going to have a very large balcony. So that is great. So obviously you're going to have that overhang. So really great, those right there. And then deck 7, there's 6 as well. And then you have 7250 and 7650. So those are going to have those extra large balconies. So if you're a single traveler, you're traveling a studio, try and get some of those. I'm sure that those staterooms book up really fast though. Okay, now we're going to go over the Oceanview staterooms. So the Oceanviews are on decks 3, 8, 9, 10, and 11. The 1N and 2N are all on deck 3. So we'll go over those first. Those are pretty simple to look at. We'll look at them right here. They're going to be right near the casino, next to music hall. You got a lot of different choices, pretty centrally located because they're really close to the elevators. Obviously, I would try and avoid being in the middle. I like being near an elevator or staircase rather than being here, because this way if you're here, you got to walk all the time. Whereas if you are near the elevator, it might, or the stairs, you're right there. So that's me personally. Not everybody, feels that way. It just really depends on you. But again, if you decide whether you want to be near the aft elevator or the forward elevator, here it is. There's a lot of choices to choose from. I don't see anything that stands out. I think they're all pretty much the same. It's just more about location. But now we're going to go up to deck 8, and let's just take a look at what it says here. So important size information. This is going to be categories 3M and 4M. Forward Oceanview staterooms on decks 8, 9, 10, and 11 are 214 square feet. And that is as opposed to 182 square feet, the ones on deck 3. Forward corner cabins have an alcove with large forward view panoramic window with seat and lounge chair, and are 302 square feet, except on deck 10, where the corner cabins are slightly more narrow. This is where you're going to have the best category. This is where you're going to get your most bang for your buck, is in this Oceanview stateroom category. So we're going to start on deck 8, and we actually gave up one of these because the price shifted and we were able to upgrade. I believe we had 8510, and we were able to upgrade to a balcony and save $800. I almost regretted it, because if you see these staterooms, They are really, really large, and I regretted not having that extra space. So you can see that this is what those corner staterooms look like. I mean, these are like a junior suite. Now you are all the way forward, but you've got this beautiful window. If you have little ones and you're afraid, of the balcony, this is very, very convenient. So I kind of regretted giving that up. I mean, we did save money by upgrading, which you don't always do, but these are kind of that secret, it says it right here, that secret Oceanview stateroom. So that is deck 8. So those are the best ones. Obviously, if you can't get the corners, those are going to be the ones that go first. Then I would try and get the ones right in the middle. Going up to deck 9, you see here, I believe the best ones I think are on 8 and 11. Is kind of one of the things I noticed, but they're all pretty large. You'll see here, and you'll see this one's got a really great video as well. Very, very spacious stateroom. And again, if those aren't available, I would try and go in the middle. Let's go up to deck 10. It did say deck 10 that the ones on the corners are a little bit more narrow. You're not going to have as much space, but they are going to be larger. So you can see it's a little bit smaller, but it's still considerably larger than the ones the regular Oceanview staterooms. So it's still a great buy. And then finally deck 11. So you have the ones on deck 11 here, and let's see if there's a video here. There is, and we'll just kind of look here. This is 11, 5, 10. So I think the one I would almost go for deck 8, then 9, then 11, and then deck 10. I think that's the order I would prefer to go. I think you're going to have a lot of space. You've got the alcove. You've got that little window seat. You got a lot of storage right there. Just beautiful. So really, really nice. Those corner ones, they do go fast. Those are the best staterooms, at least as far as value wise. You're going to get basically the size of a junior suite at the price of an Oceanview stateroom. And finally, we are at the interior stateroom. So the interior staterooms, there aren't really any special staterooms in this category. So I think a lot of it's going to be, if you're getting this category, it's going to be what the best value is. And then where do you want to be? What do you want to be close to? Usually someone who gets a interior stateroom isn't planning on spending a lot of time in their room. So they just want a stateroom that is, that just so they can sleep essentially. So you'll see here, you've got 2 right here. You got 1V and 2V really close to the elevator. So these are pretty close to the theater and next to the elevator on deck 3. You're probably not going to have a problem with movement. And those are the only ones on interior on deck 3. There are none on deck 6. And then we'll just go down on deck 7. So deck 7, again, same thing applies. I wouldn't go too forward or go too far aft. You want to be definitely centrally located. So for interior, and this is going to apply on all the other decks, I would try, if there are none on deck 7, but if there are some that are between the elevator banks. That's where I would say be between the elevator banks, because you're going to have less movement. These I think are a little less desirable. Now this one looks to be like a square shape, so that might be unique shaped. There's no pictures for me to tell, and then you have some right here that are on the end, but again, that's a really far walk, and that's all the way aft. I would personally try to avoid those. Going to deck 8, you have some here. Again, I would try to avoid those, but then this is where I would say, these are where you're probably getting a little better. You're close to the elevator, but then these right here, these are going to be in between the 2 elevator banks, very, very central. I think those are going to be very desirable, or even the ones probably from this green on, I would avoid going this far forward. Again, if it's worth it for you're getting the extra space in a corner, but if you're just getting an interior, I would avoid that, especially with no windows. Deck 9, same thing. Try and not pass these green. But then you have a lot here. Now, some of these are going to be the virtual balconies, which are great. So this is a really great stateroom right here. You have in between. So those are good. I think being between. And then you have some here, really centrally located right next to the stairs and the elevators. Very, very convenient. And then you have here, these are some more virtual balconies. Again, I would prefer to be in between and more central than get a virtual balcony, but that's just me. These I would say personally avoid. Then we're going to go to deck 10. Same thing. Try and these are fine. These are very, very, very central. That's really nice. These are great. And then try not to pass these right here. And then going to deck 11. Deck 11, now these are going to be very close to Adventure Ocean, but just know that Adventure Ocean, if you're here, you have to walk all the way around. So it's not like there's an entrance here. You still have to walk all the way around. Still very convenient, but it is going to be a walk. Personally, if you were trying to get on a deck 11, I would try and get these, especially if you are, you have a young one in Adventure Ocean. I think any of these staterooms are going to be great, very centrally located. These are fine. These I would avoid. And deck 12, same thing. I would avoid these. These are going to be fine. These are more ideal because they're central. And that's it for deck 12. And then finally, deck 13. So these aren't too bad. I would say, be closer to this end. And then these two right here are going to be very centrally located. These look to be like that square shaped as well. So these might be the room, but it looks like it could be a square shape. Again, it's great room to sleep, very convenient. One deck up from the, pool deck, very close to the stairs and the elevator. So that is it. Those are the best and worst staterooms on the Odyssey of the Seas.
Okay, so there you have it. Those are my best and worst cruise staterooms on Royal Caribbean's Odyssey of the Seas. As I always state, the worst stateroom on a cruise ship is probably still better than any room at home because you're on a cruise, you're on vacation. But definitely take some time to select your best cabin. And if you also don't mind taking a gamble, do a guarantee. But these videos can also be helpful because if you're doing a guarantee, you can kind of know what you could get. So, if you're booking a balcony, you're really opening it up to a lot of different locations. So you might get a long walk, you may have an obstructed view, and also for Royal Up too. Like, know what your categories are that you're bidding on. Know that a larger balcony usually means because usually it will say, like the Royal Up, it'll say balcony with large balcony stateroom. That usually just means a larger balcony, not a larger stateroom. A lot of first time Royal Uppers will get the stateroom and they pay like $400 or $500 and they get like a couple extra square feet and they're disappointed. So these videos can also be helpful when you're looking for Royal Up or just looking at Bear and Guarantee, because you gotta know what you could get. So it's also important too. But hopefully, if you have any advice, also if there's anything that I got wrong, put it in the comments below. I am not perfect. I've only sailed on the Odyssey once. Put it in the comments below. A lot of times people will, correct me or say, hey, I had this stateroom, it was awesome, or I had this stateroom, it was awful. Put it in the comments below, put comments, very helpful. Those types of comments help others when they're selecting their cruise stateroom. So with that, I will say, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.